Welcome to a noble society of young urban entrepreneurs sharing knowledge and building wealth. Welcome to the League of Hustlers.
The hustle is in your bones. It runs through your veins. It's that ambition to do more, become more. You can feel it. You know you have what it takes. You know you can build a life you've been dreaming of. It's time you live up to your potential. Welcome to the League of Hustlers.
Welcome back to the League of Hustlers, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. It's a motivational podcast. Hold on, it's an award-winning motivational podcast made just for you, the hustlers. All right. Every episode, we like to jump right into it, right? We like to talk about things that's going to move you closer to your goals. Okay, and in this episode, we're going to cover a very, very interesting question. But before we do, I'm your co-host, HT.
That's right. And I'm CD Barnes.
And this is the League of Hustlers. Pull up a seat to the round table. Now, this very, very important question is it your right? Is it your duty? Is it your obligation to be rich?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very heavy question.
Serious.
Very serious question.
Serious question.
Is that your obligation? Are you obligated to be successful? Are you obligated to be rich? All right. Let's dive into this, and we're going to talk about several things, okay? We're going to talk about first defining what we mean by rich, all right? Then we're going to talk about, how this just might be our obligation on this earth, all right? And then we're going to talk about how the tool that we use is often it's often misconstrued, right? But let's get right into it. This is going to be based off of a new series based off of the book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Okay, and we're just going to go through this mug, and basically this is like a foundation, right? And so we want to break each part up into these steps which allow you to move closer to your goals as always. All right, and this right here, this series is a foundational series. Okay, it's about the mental preparation. And Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich is like a best-selling book, right? Written way back in the day, early 1900s. Okay, but he was tapping into something, and actually the movie called The Secret was based off of this book. Okay, so CD, you want to jump right into it?
Yep. So to start off with, you have to kind of define what being rich is to you.
Right.
Because it's different for different people. This person may feel like rich to me is $10 million. Over here, this person may feel like I need $100 million.
Right.
Over here, you have another person that may feel like money really isn't even an object for me. Rich for me looks like this. So step one, I think, is going to be that defining what rich is for you. Right. And a part of that is like taking an assessment of the three components of you, like the mind, body, and soul. Right. What is it that you desire to do? What is it? What are the requirements for that? You know what I mean? And that is what is going to dictate like what a rich lifestyle for each person is. So that's basically, where it begins for me. That's kind of how I see it now, is looking at it that way. Like, okay, well, it is different for everybody. Yeah. And so what's rich to you? And then how do you get there? And are you obligated to being rich? What happens next in terms of answering that question? Where do you go from there?
Yeah, man. So once you define it for yourself, right, based on that mind, based on the body, based on the soul, that's the personal, it's a personal thing, right? And just to add to what you're saying before we hop into the obligation of it, is that it's not just about like on the surface level. You know, you hear the phrase mind, body, soul, right? To me personally, it's not just about that. It's more so about really diving into that, like the mental aspect of it, like the intellect, like learning new things, trying new things out, experiencing new experiences. For the body, it's not just about, you know, like being physically fit. I mean, you can be, you know, confined to a box and be physically fit, right? Run in place and da-da-da-da. But it's not just about that. To me, it's about also, you know, tasting new foods, right? Experiencing new experiences. Being in, yeah, man, like being in, like being able to travel, being able to do different things, being able to push your body to the limit, being able to, you know, feel Antarctica and feel the heat of Africa, right? And then with the soul, just the different, you know, like levels of spirituality that you can reach. Okay, so define that first for yourself. And also understand that it's not about the surface level of what we consider rich, like in terms of just money. Okay. Right. And we'll talk about that in the last point. And so this is why I think it's our obligation to be rich, right? It's because the object of life is to grow, right? Life grows, life progresses. Maybe grow isn't the best word, but it progresses. It goes through stages. It essentially experiences things. Okay? A cell, if you break it down to a cell, the cell, when it grows, it multiplies. Right? And it keeps multiplying. Those keep multiplying. All right? A plant, when a seed is planted, it has a pattern to follow. And that pattern includes going through the process of cracking the seed open, turning into a seedling, turning into a sprout, and then whatever it grows into, right? So life progresses, okay? And it's your obligation. I feel like it's our obligation to progress through life. It's our obligation to pursue an ideal. And we as humans, we have this innate ability to set a goal and then pursue it, to think of a goal, set it, and then pursue it. Like, I want to do this. Okay. And to me, once you get that small little inkling of feeling like I want to do something, once you get that desire, it's your obligation to do it. All right. It's, within reason, of course, but that burning desire that we get, or that idea that we have, I feel like it's our obligation to pursue it, to bring it to life. That may be our purpose in this world. Okay. So is it your obligation to be rich? Right? Is it your obligation to live fully, to have a healthy mental, to have a healthy body, to have a healthy soul? I think it is.
I would say so too, man. Like, you basically should be pursuing those things that kind of fulfill you, essentially. It's like a child learning to walk. The child is going to attempt to walk until they get it. Why? It's just the natural pursuit of growth and experiencing the next thing and attempting the next thing, attempting to grow. Right. That's what we do. So in regards to what you determine as being successful, what you determine as being rich, or the lifestyle or the experiences, you are obligated to grow in that way. If you plant an apple tree, it's obligated to grow apples, or attempt to grow apples. It's not going to attempt to grow oranges or bananas or any other thing. So that's what I get from the obligation part, is essentially be you and be the best you. And that's it.
And nature shows it so clearly too, right?
Exactly. Like, it's just simple.
I'm an apple
very
tree.
Simple.
I'm going to produce apples. Boom. Who are you? Right?
Right. Exactly.
That's the question.
That's it.
what are you supposed to produce? And we as humans, we can produce so many things, but it's definitely our obligation to produce, right?
And real quick, before we slide into the next key point, I think this is where a lot of unhappiness comes from, is when you have people that aren't producing what they should be in a certain way. I think a lot of people get caught off track with like, okay, I got to get rich and I got to, $100 million, or they're trying to copy what somebody else is doing. But really, what's going to make you happy is just being the best you. That's your obligation. That will make you rich in all of these areas that we're talking about. So, last key point though is how are you going to get there? What are you going to do? And we talked about tools earlier, but we're talking about money. When people talk about being rich, a lot of people think immediately of money.
Right.
But this last key point is the fact that money is a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. Okay. If money itself can't make you happy, but let's say you're a musician. You're a musician. It's what you love to do. You perform. Right. The people love it. You're obligated to grow in that way. You are going to need money at some point in time, maybe for lessons, maybe to get better instruments, maybe to travel to these places. What's your take on that, H?
No, it's right along those lines, bro. It's to put on concerts, you need money. You need to be funded, to, like you said, buy better instruments, use different instruments. Okay. And again, it's back to that growth. Yes, you can just play an instrument, right? And be good at it and love it, right? But if that's all you do all day long, how are you going to eat? Right? If you're just a musician, you have to have money to buy food, right? How are you going to be healthy? Exactly. You have to have money to survive, to get healthy food, to do exercises, all right? To live, to survive, food, clothes, shelter, right? The basics. And this is what I think is important to make a distinction. We're not talking about like filthy rich. We're not talking about what America defines as filthy rich. We're not talking about like rich only in money. We're talking about rich in mind, body, and soul. All right, which is really the only riches that matter. But in order to be rich in mind, body, and soul, you need money. So think of money as a tool. Don't be afraid of money. A lot of us were taught that money is the root of all
money is evil, and it's just like no, it's a tool.
It's a tool.
as long as you keep it in perspective, then you're fine. You're good to go. As long as you keep it in perspective, there's that whole big miseducation and the idea of how to use money and what to do with it. It kind of misconstrues, what money really is and how it should be used. It's not. You can have, $1 million in a book bag right now. That doesn't necessarily make you rich.
Exactly.
You get, if you're locked in the room with the money and you can't get out, like you're in the bank vault with the money, but you're locked in there too. You can't get out. Are you rich? Are you really rich? You got all the money, but you can't get out the vault. Does that make you rich? It doesn't make you rich, man. You're not rich.
Not at all.
What would be the challenge, man, for this episode? The challenge. So
the challenge for this episode, right, is to first. Well, let's stop right there. Okay, let's leave it right there. The challenge for this episode is to understand or clarify your concept of rich. Okay, what's rich to you? Me personally, what I've done is I've sat down, as we say in the South. I've sat down.
You did what?
I sat down and I sat down and I wrote out all Basically, my dream lifestyle, right? My dream lifestyle. I held no punches. And as I think about it, I need to go and revise it because I have some additional stuff I need to add, right? But I sat down and I wrote down everything out. Just write everything out. No punches pulled. Like everything. I don't care. If I want it, if I see it, and I want it, I'm writing it down. Okay? And I'm making this dream list. Alright? This dream list is my dream. It's my definition of rich. Okay? So try that. Clarify your definition of rich. Just sit down. And some people call it dreamlining. Alright? So just write out each line by line by line by line. Alright? Of what you really want. Don't be afraid. Don't and remove all restrictions. Don't think about, well, I'm gonna need to do this and well, I'm gonna need to do that. No, forget all of that. Just write it out. Dreamline. Write it out line by line. Your dreams. Write them out line by line. Okay, so just get clear on that first. What's your definition of rich? Mine is a certain amount of cash flow every month. Okay, mine is a certain amount of property, specific properties at that. Okay, mine is a certain relationships that I have with my wife, my family, my friends. Okay, so mine is very detailed. Mine is certain businesses earning a certain amount and having a certain impression on the world. Okay, so list those things out. Okay, dreamline, write it out. So get clear on your dream, and it's fun. Okay, but first steps first. Dreamline, write it out line by line. Your dream, just lay it out. All right, that's your challenge for this episode. All right, and this has been another episode of the League of Hustlers. All right, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you found something valuable in this episode, feel free to share it. Of course, like we said, this series is so important. All right, when I started reading this book, when I started reading The Science of Getting Rich, it just opened my eyes, and stuff just started changing when I started implementing it. And one thing I love about it is that it's a practical book. All right, it's very practical. It's like a manual, and it's telling you step by step, because the theory that Wallace had is that there is an exact science to it. Okay? And we're going to discuss all of that. And this episode is based off of the first chapter in that book. Okay? The Science of Getting Rich. And it's called what? What is it called? The
Right to be Rich.
Yeah, The Right to be Rich.
The Right to be Rich.
The question that we're just posing to you all is like, hey, do you feel like this is your duty in life? Do you understand that this is your duty in life? To me, it's like you have a duty to live life to the fullest, and fullest of your mind, fullest of your body, and the fullest of your soul, right? To your highest potentials, okay? It's the League of Hustlers, man. You know how it goes, and of course, you only have one thing to do. Until the next time, go get it. And we out.